So a whole bunch happened last on the last episode of Dauntless. Frankly, too much for me to even remember. So what I'm saying is I don't remember it. uh,
Lots of fiance drama.
Lots of fiance drama, yes,
Not
and
so much fiance drama as true drama.
true. Yeah, that's true. There was Shiana getting relieved of duty and confined to quarters, which has hit her really hard, and some of that was just trying to deal with that. Uh, Rex and Jezza are looking into some way to restore Dahli's nanoprobes before she dies from not having them.
I'll be fine. It's totally fine. I'll be fine.
That's not what that word means.
Let's see. Koltesh and Ensign Kadir are growing a new baby AI. So that's happening.
He's a proud papa.
And yeah, so quite a bit on folks' plates as we go into tonight's session.
Jonas can't listen anymore.
That
Yeah,
is also
Jonas
true.
is broken.
Jonas is broken, and
He hasn't told anyone.
almost as an afterthought, almost as an afterthought, someone beamed out the mirror universe version of Shiana Darrow, and
Bye.
left a message saying, "Thanks for the ride, fuckos," or something to that effect.
Pretty much, yeah.
So we start this episode in Admiral Tashake's briefing room on Starbase 374. All of the ship's captains and first officers, including Bianca and Voldaith, are in the meeting. So, fairly large table. Captains are seated at the table. First officers kind of seated behind them. And Admiral Santiago is there as well. He starts off, "Captains, commanders, I would like to present you with the information I presented to Admiral Tashake a few hours ago. The Klingon Empire is once again fighting a civil war. Forces aligned with Matriarch Juula of the House of Mokai have initiated hostilities with the ruling Klingon government led by Chancellor Jimpak. There are several factors that are complicating things. General Martok, as far as we know, is still neutral, officially, which means one of the major players in the Civil War has not declared a side. Moreover, the House of Mokai is the house that gave birth to Takuvma, with whom you should all be familiar. However, the most concerning and possibly most damning information, and the information that I am about to share with you, must not leave this room." He brings up a holovid of what looks to be the Chancellor's Negvar class battle cruiser, firing some sort of weapon at the surface of Khitomer. And within a few moments, a mycelial rift appears on the planet's surface. We have reason to believe that Chancellor Jimpok himself has used a weapon of mass destruction against the Alliance facilities on Khitomer. We don't yet have casualty totals. The Klingon Empire, for their part, does not know that we have this video, which was acquired through our friends in the Romulan Republic. Needless to say, for those of you with Klingon crews, I would expect an uptick in unrest and potential violence. And as he's saying this, Bianca, his eyes are fixated on Maressa, who is one of the captains of, who's the captain of one of the ships defending Starbase 374, and then his gaze turns over to you, because Dauntless also has a large contingent of Klingon crew members. And he kind of sweeps over the rest of the audience, or the rest of the audience as well. Are there any questions? No? Good. Admiral Sheikh? And she says, I know this will pose a challenge to some of our crews. It is important that they remember their duty and loyalty is to the Alliance and to this command, as long as they are assigned to the Carina Nebula. Maressa, I assume your crew will not be a problem. Maressa says, my crew knows the importance of duty, and without duty there is no honor. They are loyal to this command. I will make sure of it. And Tashake looks around the room one more time and says, very well. You're dismissed,
Admiral?
Captain. And you all file outside, and Bianca, as you are leaving, you see Viri enter the Admiral's office. Possibly don't think a whole lot about this. Vruldaith, are assuming you would be going back to the ship at this point, or are you staying with the captain?
I probably would be going back to the ship. Captain, you would internally hear like a gigantic eye roll and basically, great, even more stuff I've got to deal with.
As you were Commander Pellis, please report back to the Dauntless. You'll be in command until I return.
Aye.
And as he departs, Bianca, you hear, oh, to be a fly on the wall of that conversation. Of course, you don't even have to be in the room, do you?
Is that Viri talking to me?
No. No, and let's do the first roll of the night. Give me an insight security check. I want to set the difficulty at 1.
Okay. Would my composure focus apply?
Under the circumstances, yes. Because you recognize the voice. 2 successes. You recognize the voice, and turning to face it, you see a fly on the wall with Q's face.
And she just looks at Varric, and she just kind of Like, she kind of gives him a look that's just like, fuck. Like, she doesn't, because Viri's there, she doesn't think anything particularly
Viri's-
hard in his direction.
Yeah,
but,
no, Viri has gone, like, into the Admiral's office. They're having a one-on-one conversation.
and then, Bianca, so she's not around.
Correct.
She's not within earshot. Okay. Bianca's just going to be like, Q, to what do we owe the pleasure?
Oh, I am here distinctly for my own pleasure. Getting to hear this conversation... Well, let's just say I always love it when an Elorian is taken down a peg.
In this case, you and I actually agree.
Admit it, don't you want to hear what's going on in there?
I should be above such things. But if you feel compelled to report back with the gossip, I won't say no.
Unfortunately, going in there myself could be a little dangerous. Elorians have this strange knack when it comes to the Q. I'm afraid you'd have to get the gossip yourself, but I assure you it will be well worth it. And his little fly-sized face just grins.
She goes, I don't suppose you have any idea why she's actually here.
Oh, I have ideas.
Well, so do I. And Varric is actually like probably looking at him like very much like
like eyebrow raised, but other than that, basically trying to
like,
hide his expression.
Like very close to scowling. Like
mild disgust too. Like, Q, what are you doing with a fly's body in the head of a human? Like, why? Why are you like this, Q?
Oh, and Bianca also told Varric all about the last time Q visited her.
I remember that conversation, yes.
Yes. He does not appreciate Q appearing in his wife's bed while she is naked.
That's a kind of, yeah, that's when we're done with this episode, we'll have to recamp that for the folks who weren't here for it, because that was a trip. He says, well, there's still a chance I could possibly sneak in. Elorians are... Well, this Elorian in particular is going to be very, very distracted right about now. And he grins, and with his trademark shimmer, he vanishes.
Bianca kind of gives Varric a look and thinks in his direction, as if I didn't have enough to worry about.
What do you think that was about?
I don't know. But for some reason, I'm glad it's him, because the Elorians don't have a good history with the Q.
Do you think he'll try to antagonize her further?
I'm not sure.
Well, as you said...
You know, anytime I try to outthink a Q, it never works. So...
Well, as you said, one more thing to worry about. I suppose I should be back to it. My paperwork load just tripled.
As we're Admiral. And there's some mirth that's in her eyes when she says Admiral.
When she said Admiral, what she really meant was husband. Okay. So, let's follow Vrildith back to the Dauntless.
So as Rulgarth enters, a lot's going on in his mind. He's trying to figure out, okay, what is the next step here? I've got this Klingon mess. I've got this mess with Viri. I've got stuff going on with Jonas, and as well as the whole, your previous head of department is having a mental breakdown.
Well, that's a part you probably wouldn't know about, but
I mean,
other than the fact that she got relieved, yeah.
Yeah, the whole, he knows that's going to be a mess, whether he knows it's going to be, the details are still messy, but he knows that's something that he should probably also deal with at some point somehow, and he decides to get the most easiest thing dealt with, at least as far as his part of it goes, and approaches Shiana's room.
Okay. So, Shiana, you are alone in your quarters right now with Plakir being on duty at the moment. So you're not expecting the chime at the door when you hear it. So talk us in a little bit first. What has Shiana been like? What is she doing in her quarters at the moment? The door chimes.
Well, at this particular moment, Shiana has taken to eating macarons and drinking wine.
Okay.
Or whiskey. Like, she's sort of given up on the punching bag. Like, this particular moment, she's sitting in a chair and, yeah, cookies and alcohol.
Fair.
Yeah,
Indulging
I think that's
the human side.
Yes, I think it's a very, fair place for her to be. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, at the chime, she sort of puts down the other half of a macaron on a plate and says, "Enter?"
You see Rudolph into your room. Commander? How's things?
Centurion, and then Shiana kind of tries to, make herself, look presentable, even though she's totally in her pajamas. And she stands up. What are you doing here?
Just checking in. I know it's been a big change, and just want to see how you're doing.
Oh, well, maybe as well as can be expected, maybe a little worse. How are things on the ship? What's you probably shouldn't tell me, but
well, they're a mess. I will say that. But we're working on things. Perhaps it's a bit out of my bit out of our normal relationship, but I do hope that you do have support there. That and no change is, particularly this kind of change, is big and scary, and you never know what's going to come around the corner with this. But are you
Well-
sure you're doing all right?
I'm okay, but let's be frank, this fucking sucks. But if it has to be somebody other than me in charge of security for Dauntless, I'm glad it's you.
Somewhere Sisram frowns.
Well,
Because
It's-
you have an investigative mind, and right now there are things, there are problems, there are secrets that
you know my
You're
opinion
going
on
to figure it out.
secrets. Yeah.
You're gonna figure it out.
Well, this I look forward to being your deputy again.
I would love nothing more, but I don't know if that will ever happen.
Commander, the only way it's not going to happen is if you give up on it. I have faith, and I'm sure that I can speak for the rest of the security staff, is that we want you back, and you have the capability to be back. Just don't give up on yourself, and we won't give up on you.
And Shanna does that head tilt, swallow, I'm not gonna cry thing. Well, in that case, I will do my best because, God, I miss you guys. You pack of lunatics. But you're my lunatics.
Vruda laughs and just says, "Oh, you have to be to keep up with you."
Okay, well, I mean, I suppose I deserve that, and you nail that fucking bitch to the wall if you can.
I will do my duty to the utmost. There's a slight wink, sparkle in his eyes, except so.
I have faith in you as well.
Well, I should get going. There's a lot to do and little time to do it.
Always the case on a starship.
Amanda. And with that, he salutes and just walks out.
And Shanna, a few minutes after he leaves, your communications console at your desk chirps.
You've got mail.
Shanna moves over to check the chirp.
It's an incoming hail.
She hits the button for answer.
And a face that you were not particularly expecting comes up shortly after shortly preceded by a Klingon Imperial logo. It is Lady Valkyrie, the matriarch of House Duras. Commander, I hope I did not find you at a bad time, as the humans would say.
Lady Valkyrie, no, this is as good a time as any. How can I help you?
Our people are once again at war, Shienna. Previously, this might not have concerned you, but as a member of House Duras, you now need to know. There is... she takes a second to compose herself and says, the House of Mokai has used bureaucratic finagling to resurrect itself and has declared war against the legally recognized Chancellor Jimpak. Duras is, as always, loyal to the Chancellor. But you may find some among your crew who are not, and who will seek to express themselves toward you directly as a member of House Duras. I would advise you, Shienna, to be on your guard.
Thank you, Lady Valkyrie. I always am, but at this particular moment, I am confined to quarters, and it is unlikely that I will encounter any of our Klingon crew.
Yes, so I have heard. Your human captain sent you to do a human task, and you met it with a warrior spirit. And she actually grins.
Human, excuse me.
Betazoid, human, whatever. Sorry, yes, that was a foul upon my part.
I was in direct violation of orders. So there's nothing to celebrate about that, and though I appreciate your perspective.
Her smile kind of fades a bit at your answer. There is an alternative. Come back to the Alpha Quadrant. Fight for House Duras. Oppose the Mokai scum. Bring glory to yourself and to your house. You are not a Klingon, so I will not judge you if you answer in the negative.
I won't say that the offer isn't tempting. I would love nothing more than to wade into a fight and to think of nothing but the fight. But I have a duty to Starfleet and a duty to Plakir, and I have to consider those things as well. I hope that you will allow me to think on this.
Of course, Shienna. You are a citizen of two peoples. It is a difficult line to walk for even the greatest Klingon warriors.
You flatter me, Lady Valkyrie. You don't usually do that.
You've earned your place in the house. I will not hold back on my praise. Nonetheless, the offer stands. Should you reconsider it?
I will let you know what my decision is when I have a decision.
Very well. And she closes the channel.
And Shanna sits there, sort of stunned and quiet, and she's wrestling with these opposing notions and ideas and ideals and things within herself, and wow, there are no easy answers.
Not at the best of times, but certainly not now. And I'm going to send us over to sickbay. And Jonas has basically, I assume, been keeping a vigil with Dathli the entire time. Like, it's been about 12, 13 hours since the end of the last episode. And actually, he
Okay.
might still be in observation himself.
I mean, we're both we're side by side on biobeds. Keeping an eye on each other.
Mm-hmm.
You've been oddly quiet for the past 4 hours.
I've run out of ways to try and describe the ceiling of this room.
You can see, like, she kind of, like, tilts her head back and, like, tilts it to the side so, like, her quote-unquote good eye can see and, like, kind of squints. Did you already say it was functional?
That was number 6,423. I'll send you the complete list later.
She kind of, like, gives you a kind of half smile.
How are you feeling?
Relatively calm.
That's a good thing.
I don't feel sick anymore, which is a welcome feeling. But I can feel things changing, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
About 45 minutes ago, I lost sensation below my knees.
Well, you'll be fine in no time once we get those nanoprotes back.
As long as they're here within the next 72 hours, you should be fine.
I can't help you with that.
How's your head? Brain? Mind? Psyche?
Well, I've still got a minor headache, light sensitivity, and I still somewhat feel like I've been thrown through a psychokinetic mind shredder, but other than that, I'm fine.
Ooh, can I tell if he's lying?
You can try. We'll do insight medicine. The base difficulty is 1. Complication range is 2. Jonas, would you like to try and oppose this?
I would love to try and oppose this.
Okay, so this will be an opposed roll against Jonas's control command.
You said insight medicine,
Yes.
and I'm assuming something applies. Neurology.
Or
Xenobiology?
xenobiology. Yeah, one of those two.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Even though I cannot hear anymore, is it possible to use my listener skill to get an extra d20 for this roll? Since I am practicing trying to help people feel better in certain situations.
Oh, well played.
Son of a bitch.
Yes, but at the cost of +1 to your complication range as well.
Okay, I will raise my complication range to 2.
And y'all do have 1 momentum, so...
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we need it for this.
Okay.
Alright, task roll is
But-
3 for me.
Good. Great. Good job, Self. 0 successes. Yeah, I can't tell.
Okay, that's
I'm
gonna say
assuming
that's
anyway.
I'm gonna say that's 3 successes because his attunement focus definitely does not apply, but it is still 3 over the base difficulty of 1. So y'all gain 2 momentum.
Oh, I forgot to hit no there. My apologies.
No, no worries. That's why I checked it. I can
Okay.
you can hover over and see that it was a 3, not a natural 1. So
Gotcha.
But yeah, maybe you can describe like how Jonas is putting himself, like, you know, forward. How he's like acting. Like, does it seem like he's hiding something, or is he just like?
No, for the most part, it looks like he still has that like slight squint look as the lights are turned down, as if he's expecting them to turn back up at any minute. But for the most part, he's looks and sounds like he's being completely open and honest with Dauntless in this situation.
Okay.
ouch.
Do you think she found my plants?
Well, if she did, she didn't find the one in my quarters, so there's at least one still alive.
Well, at least that one then.
Real quick, sorry to interrupt, but what are Dauntless and Jonas's favorite foods? Or what is a food that they like to share,
Oh.
like when they're eating together?
Huh. I imagine some kind of Bajoran dish.
I can work with that.
Something that would be aesthetic to both of them for Dauntless, Borg, and Romulan senses, as well as this being raised on Bajoran food as well for Jonas.
Okay. So, as you all are talking, you hear Dr. Pierce in the next room say, "Yes, of course. I don't think they'd mind a visitor." And the smell of Bajoran Hasperat souffle wafts into the sickbay. Walking in with two dishes is a black woman dressed in purple robes. Her hair, kind of long hair, just braided behind her, and
Oh my god.
she says,
Well, shit, I can't lie to her.
Try to lie to God and Jonas do it!
and she says as she walks in, "Hope you don't mind. I was passing through. I heard about your fight with Viri," she says, Jonas looking directly at you.
Jonas suddenly has the child caught with his hand in the cookie jar look. Kynan.
And there was actually, I'm gonna say there's actually a third dish. She brought herself an ice cream sundae, so she could just
Of course
like
she
sit
did.
down and have something to eat.
Because Guinan is perfect.
Well, news does travel fast, doesn't it?
Some news travels faster than others. Bad news always has a way of traveling fast.
That it does.
How you holding up, kid?
Better days. The most neutral answer he can give.
She says, I believe it. Fury's a fighter, and it seems like she's taken that fight to a different arena now. And looking over at you, Dolly, she says, I'm sorry, my manners. I don't think we've met. I'm Guinan.
I apologize, we are not meeting under better conditions. You can call me Dolly.
You look like you've been put through a ringer too. You okay?
Oh, Jonas's compatriot is rather talented in what she can do.
I was afraid of that.
Yeah, Viri removed all of her nanoprobes. Through touch, I might add. Slight frown on Jonas's face.
Awkward look on Dolly's face.
Closely matched by the frown on Guinan's face.
I didn't know such a thing was even possible.
Well, I'm sorry you had to learn this way. And that's not something every Elorian can do, but when an Elorian puts their mind into doing something, things have a way of happening.
I'm learning a lot of things lately. Is that souffle you have there?
Oh, yes. Please, help yourself. And she hands over the dishes and some utensils.
Mm.
I'm just gonna stare at it.
Oh, Jonas has you covered. Jonas is going to
I mean, there
slide
are
off
two
his...
souffles. There are two plates.
I know. Dolly doesn't want to move.
Jonas is going to slide off his bio bed and sit on the edge of Dockley's and start feeding her a bit of her souffle first.
I'm not a child, Jonas.
I didn't say you were.
Just kind of like this exasperated but fond look on her face. It's more the fact that there's company.
She says, well, don't worry. I won't be too long. But I can see that the two of you are bound by pain, but you're also bound by love. Take advantage of that. Use it. Make it work for you.
One day at a time.
As for me and my Sunday, we're portable. We don't need to stick around. And she kind of smirks.
Since you're here and you heard about the fight, any advice?
Whatever healing one of you is part of, the other part, one of you is going to have to be a part of too. It's going to be all or nothing, kid.
Cryptic.
We normally are.
You were clearly absent from school that day.
And Viri?
The universe has a way of rebalancing itself. I wouldn't worry about her too much. Not short term. Now, long term might be a different story, but kid, she's your fight.
Yep. I thought I could run away from that fight.
Things we run away from always end up coming back to bite us.
Or throw us out of their quarters with psychokinetic energy.
Or try to assimilate the human race.
Once, one time.
Jonas does laugh, by the way.
And again, Guinan kind of smiles. Like there was no malice in the statement. More irony.
Guinan, where are you headed after this?
Oh, probably don't plan to, or won't be staying here much longer. I've got things to get back to.
If you hear from my parents, can you let them know I'm doing okay?
I think I'll leave that to you to tell them. That's another one of your fights.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that.
I like her.
I don't think there's anybody I've ever heard of who doesn't like her. Except for that one. Who's the one officer you keep beating in that laser tag game?
Who was that anyway? Was that Data?
That was
No,
Wolf.
it was Worf. Okay. No, Worf's fine. He likes his prune juice. I can think of one person I'm not a big fan of, but
Guinan introduced Worf to the prune juice.
I can think of one entity I'm not a big fan of, but other than that, I'm pretty easygoing. But I should be about it. I'll leave you two to your privacy and your souffle. Don't worry about eating it all in one sitting. It reheats very well.
Thank you, Gannon.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Take care of yourselves.
Oh, if you have the permissions, you should stop down by the holodeck. There's a program I've been working on that you might like.
Let me check that out. And she just kind of, as the two of you kind of get drawn back into your own conversations, she just seems to make her own exit at some point. You're not really entirely sure when or even how, but
She does the Guinan thing.
mm-hmm.
You should go see if at least Lieutenant Commander Ron will give you some news.
Well, I could, but then you would be here alone, and that's not a good thing.
The emergency medical hologram could keep me company.
That's true. But he might shut himself off. He apparently doesn't like much company. Alright, how about this? You eat some of your souffle, and I will go find Lieutenant Commander Ron.
I think that is an acceptable agreement.
Alright.
All right. I'm gonna do a quick mic check. Adam, can you hear us okay?
Test.
Okay,
Test.
great.
I can hear you, and you can hear me.
Yep. Your green icon was stuck on, but now it seems to fix itself. So awesome.
The screen went black, and then I had to turn it back on from sleep mode, and I guess it just gets stuck that way.
Gotcha. Okay. No worries. So, Jonas, you start making your way to engineering to find Commander Ron, and as the turbolift doors open, Chief Petty Officer Rex and Lieutenant or the ensign that is basically always on his right are in the turbolift as the doors open.
Now, I think I recognize you, son. Sir, I would say instead.
Oops, that's the wrong man.
You're the helmsman, aren't you, sir?
Yes, Lieutenant Jonas Carden.
Mr. Carden, I've read about some of your maneuvers of flying this big ship, and I must say, sir, I am impressed. Master Chief Petty Officer Jonathan Rex. It's nice to meet you. He salutes, and then will extend his hand in greeting.
We'll just move this down.
Jonas will reach out and shake his hand. Nice to finally meet you in person, sir.
I saw you fly this big bad girl through the slipstream. Impressive work. Are you here? No, let's Ensign, move over, move.
And you kind of like give him a little bit of an elbow, and he just kind of elbows back for a second, but does move over.
We're heading down to engineering.
That's exactly where I was headed myself.
Well, do you mind if we escort you? I have gonna check on our progress with Commander Ron.
No, not at all.
So he hits the button. So
And the turbolift starts moving.
So it was a interesting past couple of hours, has it not been, Ensign or Lieutenant?
I believe that is an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
The
Diplomat on board causing all sorts of trouble, and I've read a lot of these reports. I've not seen so much trouble caused by one crew member that's not been holographic.
Well, to be fair, this person has a very determined focus when it comes to whatever they set their mind to.
Sounds like a mighty tough fixin' you're in, Lieutenant.
You could say that.
Yeah. If you ever need to talk about it, later I'll be in the lounge, nursing a drink, if you would like one. Perhaps maybe if you need a personal advice on dealing with a certain conversation you might be having with a lovely young lady later.
Exactly how old are you, sir?
Well, I think my 50th birthday will be here in about 3.5 months. That'll actually make me on the ship when that happens.
Jonas just smiles.
Now you gotta understand, I understand that your people live a great deal longer than my people do, but sometimes you get some experience knowing that the end is gonna come a lot quicker than you'd like it to.
Serving on a starship, I have never underestimated when and where life might decide to throw a curveball my way.
Yeah. Or it might throw you out the quarters door. I say to the engineering level.
How many people have seen that video?
I have not seen the video. It's just you have to understand I'm here for the inspection, so anything that sounds potentially interesting gets forwarded to me. So.
Oh no.
Starfleet is apparently an organization where they trust the inspectors versus the present day military where they're like, do not tell the IG.
Well, it also
Well,
doesn't help the fact that probably half the Admiralty Board wants her to fail it, so they're probably forward me everything.
Mhm.
Did you realize the paint on deck 13 was a different shade?
If
So-
you'd like to hear about something interesting, there's a certain kind of plant that's never been seen in the galaxy before I can show you.
Now, I'll tell you, I don't know who told you I do love plants. I grew up on a farm. Ensign, Lieutenant, that's an out-of-character mistake. Lieutenant, if you don't mind, this ship is really big, and I've only been to engineering once. You mind leading the way?
Of course, follow me.
And the turbolift
Thank you.
doors open, and Rex, you stare out into this 4-deck engineering chamber, for lack of a better word. Warp core to rival, of a scale to rival what you've seen in star bases, which just goes to reinforce your belief that this thing is a flying starbase.
God damn, look at the size of that thing. Excuse me, sir. It is an impressive engine.
By all means, use as many colorful words as you want, because that engine deserves it for the number of things that she's pulled us through.
Jonas, you can tell looking around there have been some minor changes. It looks like there's an office for the chief engineer where there hadn't been before.
Oh, someone got an upgrade. Jonas sing-songs that in person. Well, I do believe we're headed over this way to where there is a brand new office constructed for our chief engineer.
Yes, offices. They're like prisons, just with better chairs.
I wonder if I'll get to see the mood board.
Now what? Sir?
And, I'd like both of you at this point to give me an insight security check. The difficulty here is going to be, I'll set it at 1.
No.
No, it's
Do I
not.
have
It's not for
a-
that. It's for some. Well, actually, before I do that, let's.
Oh, it kicked me out.
Regan, describe to us what Jessa is doing in her new office at the moment.
So
And
she
the more
is-
blissfully unaware she can be of the 3 people about to enter her office, the better.
Yes. So she now has an office, which is very new and interesting. So she has actually moved a lot of her little like knickknacks. Mostly what it is it's like machine parts or little touristy things that she got that she had in her quarters, but now she has an office and people will actually see them. So she set up like shelves along one of the back walls, actually one of the side walls even, for all of these little like machine parts organized in funky little patterns, or old parts of something that she put together this one time that fell apart, but she's really proud of that one configuration of that one part that she really, she just has to keep that's important. That's important stuff right there. So she's just organizing these shelves with basically meaningless junk, but to her it's important.
Meaningful to her.
Exactly.
Knickknacks.
And she has like a couple rocks on there that looked pretty cool this one time, and maybe a couple books, but they're mostly like, they're not really books. They're like, future books about engineering. There might be one about like trill biology, but for the most part, it's just really dry engineering stuff. And she's humming to herself.
So the insight security check is going to be basically what you all hear as you approach the office.
Oh, there I am. Okay. I was like, I can't find my sheet at all. I'm under guest characters. Gotcha.
Yep.
That's fine. I was just like, whoa. secondary characters. All right, sorry.
Yeah, because Rex
Insight
is a
security.
character who I kind of envision being here for some episodes and not here for others. If that
Sounds
makes sense.
good. That's fine. That's cool. I was just lost. I was like, oh, did it get lost?
Yep. No, still
Insight security. Does any of my focuses apply? Unlikely.
No, actually.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't think any of mine would apply either.
Nope.
Oh, I got
Wow.
a complication there. Yeah.
Okay.
No, hey.
All right. So
I'm too busy staring at the big old engine.
that's exactly what I'll say is happening, and Jonas, you hear kind of a faint melodical humming, a melodical tune. Someone's humming from inside the office, and honestly, Rex, you don't hear that because you're too busy listening to the hum of this massive warp engine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna
Like-
sit there. I'm gonna sit there and enjoy it. Like, that's a good sound.
And so that's the situation when you all kind of reach the door of Jez's office, which could be open or closed. I'll leave up to her.
It's open.
Okay.
She knows.
So,
She's made a point of knowing all of her crew,
mm-hmm.
quote unquote. So like, they are able to come and go into her office so long as she's in there. She's
Yeah.
not expecting other people to suddenly be in engineering though.
Surprise.
Jonas isn't going to say anything. He's just going to like lean into the doorway, just watching her and peeking around her office and seeing how cool it looks.
She does not have the mood board hidden at the moment.
And
It
meanwhile,
is on the
Rex just kind of
opposite
walks
wall
right in.
Shelves.
That's the complication. Rex just not paying any mind, just struts right into this office like almost like he owns it. And Jonas, you're kind of like, oh, as this Master Chief just walks right past you.
Commander, I'm sorry. So I'm like touching the walls,
Mm-hmm.
not sensually, but really enjoying the hum of the deck plating. And then I will realize other people are here, and I'll,
Yeah,
Commander, I'm
it's a
sorry.
vibration, it's a vibration that outside of engineering, given the scale of the ship, you might not even get to feel. But down here,
Yeah.
it's just barely there, and it's something else.
All of the car nerds are so happy right
Yeah,
now.
Exactly. It's
So,
like a
Commander, I'm
muscle car
sorry.
or something of that effect. Yeah.
Actually, my
So-
character
so
wouldn't be
you-
embarrassed. Commander, can you feel this? I'm mighty proud to serve on this ship.
Computer engaged wall protocol.
Engage what?
And some of the decorations that were on the wall just kind of disappear.
I'm sorry if I'm disturbing you, Commander. I can wait outside.
Nope. I am fine. How? Hi. How much did you 3 see?
Well, that was a lovely tune you were singing.
Oh no. Or maybe.
Far
thank
be it
you.
to me to dispute the lieutenant's accurate observation. But I didn't hear. But that's okay.
But the chief knows a gag when he hears one and is happy to run with it.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Jez's spots are darkening from the sudden rush of blood, like the equivalent of a blush, basically.
Sorry, you I'm fine. You caught me off guard. I was just doing a little bit of rearranging things. They just finished the construction on the office. It was very quick, but I guess that makes sense. There's a lot of empty space in here, and it doesn't have to be fancy or anything. It's just basically a box for me to put my things in. How can I help you, folks?
The Master Chief looks to the lieutenant, who outranks him. Therefore, his concerns are more important than his.
I was actually on my way to see how things were coming along with Dahli's nanoprobes.
Of course you were. Right. Yes. So I have them kind of circulating. I have to, do some stuff, and God.
Jonas holds up his hands, Lieutenant Commander.
Of course, and yes.
Take a breath. Inhale.
What's breathing? Hi, I'm fine.
Exhale. It's okay. I'm just coming to see how progress is going. I didn't expect them to be ready right now.
Progress is fine. Things are fine. They are doing what they need to do so that I'm ready to try and fix the situation as best I can. So I took a second to move some stuff from my quarters down to here. But what we could get from the transporters, I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
Or at least better than bad.
Well, anything better than bad is good.
Yes.
Especially logs. Sorry.
You said you had them circulating?
Right. So there's a lot of stuff, right, in the computer of it. You have to kind of pull out, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying. Sorry, this is hard. I'm trying.
I feel like the commander is trying to say that we're trying to isolate the good doctor's individual biomes that are found within the computer logs. That takes some time, and once we isolate that, we might be able to reverse engineer her nanoprobes. Is that right, Commander?
I was eventually going to get to that. Yeah.
As the benefit of being an NCO, ma'am, is that I can sometimes find a quicker way to get to the point. That being said, I've come down here to help you to get to the point much quicker. Where do you need me?
Is there a roll Jonas can do to see if Jez is okay?
Yeah, straight insight command.
Okay. I don't think I have any focuses here.
Nope.
Okay.
If only you could listen. Cry.
Yeah. What's my target thing?
Difficulty 1, unless Jezza would like to try and contest the roll.
Nope, she has no head on her shoulders for keeping that shit under wraps right now.
Okay.
2.
Okay, so you gain a momentum. And Jezza, how is Jezza doing right about now?
So there are sort of two things. She was very calm by herself, and there's still that little bit of like underlying, like trying to find that calm and trying to find that composure, because she had it for a second. But for the most part, she is staring in ways she doesn't normally stare at people. Normally she stares at like the floor or the wall or like right at your face in an attempt to just maintain eye contact and like unblinking eye contact. She's not doing that this time. She's just staring at Rex a little too much.
Right. You define too much though.
Define too much? Do I need to define too much?
No.
Because it's basically she just had him like within the last 12 hours pressed up against her in a fucking crawl space. She's like, this is fine. No, I didn't need him to I didn't need to have him sneak up on me or anything. No, I'm totally fine. I was not at all stuck in my head. Nope. I'm
Nope,
good.
not one
Hmm.
bit.
I'm great.
Not in the slightest.
Super great. Super great.
Jonas nods. Well, since I'm here and so's the Master Chief, is there anything that I can do to help?
Um, well, you do know Dahli better than I do, but I don't. I'm going to be honest, Lieutenant Cardin. I am not sure why exact. I mean, I know why the doctor came to me for help. I am the engineer on the ship. I know how to fix things, but I feel personally responsible now for making sure that this goes smoothly, and I just really need this to go right. Um, and maybe you know better how to help me with that, because I don't know if you've noticed, I'm not good at talking, um, or socializing, or really lending much of a hand in this sort of way. And I'm going to be honest. I am slightly in over my head and worried.
The Master Chief's gonna send a kind of a look to Jonas. More, if we want to make a roll for it, but he's kind of looking to him for permission to speak. Just because she is speaking to Jonas, but the Master Chief wants to say something, but does not want to interrupt his superior officer. So he's kind of, I'm giving him the look of like, do you mind if I say something?
Jonas has been in Starfleet long enough; he'd pick up on that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
just,
not subtle.
He'll nod his head towards the Master Chief.
Commander Ron, you are a decorated Starfleet officer. You have graduated from Starfleet Academy with a major in constructional engineering and warp theory. In addition to, you have maintained several starships throughout your career. While you may not feel that you are qualified to handle this situation, I know as a fact of years of experience in the Federation Marines, MACOs, and across countless starship that you can handle this situation. And while you may be nervous about it, you will get it done. And I am here to help you. And so is the good lieutenant and Ensign Peters here. You tell us what you need to do, and it will be done to the best of our abilities, and we will make sure that the doctor lives to see another day. Tell us what you need us to do, and it will be done, ma'am. And I'm going to attempt to inspire her with my command abilities.
Okay. Yeah. Let's try this. Let's do Insight Command.
Gotcha. I was hoping presence with the resounding speech.
I will do that. Yeah. That actually
you,
makes
sir.
more sense. So Presence Command.
Somebody's been reading my
Team
file.
dynamics focus.
Yep.
Yes, sir. I would love to spend a momentum, if that's okay with the team.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna spend a momentum just to get us
Some momentum.
in here.
That was a big damn hero.
You just want to super crush this and make.
Yeah,
Jezza
no,
very-
indeed. I'm trying to even. I'm gonna wait. Since I'm just doing the pep talk, I'll wait to spend the determination. Hopefully, I do well. Oh, bam! Big money, big money. Okay, let me check my. Call out target. No, I'm not calling out targets, so we're good here. We're good. 3 successes.
Yep. And so you gain 2 momentum.
Cool.
And Jezza, his words do seem to kind of have a calming effect. Like for a few moments, you're able to pull yourself away from the distraction that is this man's body and focus on his words. And they
Look
kind
at
of
my mouth.
resonate.
Look at my mouth.
No, don't tell her that.
No.
But the words resonate, and like they don't just resonate with Jezza, but they resonate with the Ron symbiont too, who has seen some shit, quite frankly, and is like, you know, this is your opportunity to show everyone what we are truly made of.
And Jezza sort of takes a second, and her face goes from that confused terror to very calm, which is very new for her because she's usually in a state of terror. So you read my career history, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
I do get anxious often. Ever since the leg, and she kind of like wiggles her left leg. But but yes. Yes, I know.
We got this, Commander. You tell me what I need to do, and we will get it done.
I've been letting the computer run through the information to isolate the specific bits that I want. We could go through the whole process of trying to reset Dakhli entirely, but I that's not necessarily what we need to do. We need to replace the nanoprobes. That's the most important part of this. All of her malfunctions, and I know how implant rejections can go. All of those malfunctions can essentially be largely reversed just by replacing what she needs to keep functioning. So we just need to isolate whatever bits the nanoprobes are in and see if we can pull those out in some way. If I had some other thing to put them in, then I would do that. I just don't want to put. I don't want to move Dali too much.
I did a tour on a couple of medical ships. We could perhaps use the essentially the advanced MRI machine, combined it, be able to modify it with some replicators, and we might be able to put her in the MRI and essentially replicate those nano machines that we need.
And Jonas,
but the problem's going to be is that she has to stay particularly calm, and while Commander, you are an astounding engineer, keeping someone calm, you might not be particularly up to snuff. But Lieutenant might be able to keep her still enough for us to be able to complete the procedure.
We could, but I technically, the first host was a nurse, so I have some ability, just not much as me. But yes, Jonas, Lieutenant Carden would be better at it.
And Jonas,
and
this is... Sorry, go ahead.
That was it. I was just going to say that's largely what I need.
And Jonas, this is the part... This is about where Guinan's words resonate in your memory. That for this to work, both of you need to be a part of it.
Jonas will nod with those words in mind. I can do that.
Good. I do have one additional recommendation, Commander. While while your previous host was a nurse and I have spent some time as an EMT technician in the Federation Marines, I believe. Hold on here. Ensign Kadir might be someone who would be able to assist us in completing this procedure. She is, after all, the science officer on board. Am I correct?
She is, yes.
At this point in time, it sounds like a party. If she can help us save the good doctor's life, I say we get it done. It's your call, Commander. You're the one who went to school. I'm just a boy from Iowa.
I hardly think it is entirely my call. I may have the highest rank in this office, but I am not in charge of the doctor. I will do my best, but I would rather make sure we have a plan and then offer it to her to make that decision.
That's a solid idea, Commander. If I may, why doesn't Lieutenant Carden take a moment to discuss our plan with his close personal friend, the doctor, while we go confer with the chief science is Ensign Kadir the chief science officer now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with the chief science officer, assuming she agrees and her physician agrees, we should start this procedure now before she starts to short circuit, as it were.
Well, that probably is any minute now, so yes.
Then, Commander, and I say we get it done. Giddy up. So he says kind of with the idea of like, let's get it done.
There's a moment. There is actually a moment
Use that
because
word again.
you've calmed.
I've decided that's my catchphrase.
You've calmed Jezza down enough that she is at least somewhat in her right mind enough to squint at you just a little bit. I'm sorry, Master Chief. Do you listen to the words that you say before you say them, or do you just say them?
Commander, I listen sometimes, but I am a human. You have only one lifetime, and sometimes it's better to just get out there and see what we can see and get done what we have to get done.
Yeah.
So, to answer your question, Commander, sometimes, just sometimes. But I don't know about you, we gotta get this doctor healthy, because I think I'm in mighty need of a checkup.
Why is this man awful?
Yeah, no, that's when Jezza just like raises her hand to be like, nope, that's fine. Yep, that's. I'm going to just take a quick sweep through my office before we leave, and then so after you, gentlemen.
Well, you take all the time that we can spare, Commander. I'm gonna go marvel at this massive engine you got in here. I promise not to touch anything.
Great. As soon as Jonas can still be in the room when she does this, but as soon as Rex and the ensign leave, she sort of says under her breath, "Computer disengaged wall protocol."
And the mood board and some of the decorations reappear.
And then she starts to leave.
Right before she leaves, Jonas is going to take a moment. You know, I think it's rather adorable. And then he leaves.
Okay, so let me see here. So let's go to Naomi's quarters, because at the moment she finds herself off duty as well. And maybe briefly describe to us what Naomi's doing on some of her downtime.
I was like, wow, Naomi's off duty because she's a workaholic.
Right? So even in her downtime, she's probably studying things, but
I was going to say she's probably looking at some readouts, probably from the developing AI, whatever kinds of, like how the neural network on the AI has been developing since it probably has, I think it's been a couple of hours since we last left the AI. So she's probably just kind of keeping an eye on how it's developing, how the neural network is looking, just in her quarters, still working, but quote unquote off duty.
gotcha. And that's when you hear a chime at your at your door.
Enter.
At first, you don't see anything as the doors part, but then you look down slightly, and apparently, at some point in the last 12 hours, your AI has become mobile.
Oh.
As it kind of hovers its way into your quarters.
So it's like is it hovering off the ground?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Since I'm assuming it may not be verbal, I take my data pad and I type out a message to show the AI. And it says, and I say, hello, Kalesa. When did this happen? When were you able to become mobile?
And
I show it to Setzer.
So you show this to it, and after a moment, it responds 2.74 hours ago. Again, like the lettering appearing on the top of its surface.
That is really interesting. I say that out loud, and then I write another message on the data pad. I say, if you became mobile over 2 hours ago, where have you been on the ship?
I came directly here. It took 2.1 hours to learn how to use my mobility.
I write another message saying, that is truly remarkable. In such a short time, you figured out how to become mobile and you found your way here. How did you find your way here?
Your location was in the ship's database, which I had access to before I and the letters kind of trail off. Like she's not entirely sure how to describe her own evolution at this point.
There. I wonder, can I I know we did this last time, but maybe just because it's been a few hours,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems a little bit more developed, could I maybe see if I can pick up any thoughts telepathically
Okay.
from Kalessa?
Let's do Insight Command. Difficulty will be 1. Just because you're still not entirely sure how to read something like this, and the last time you tried, you couldn't. So you're fighting a little bit of inertia here. And
Would
also,
and I can't remember, my neuroscience focus would apply here?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
so
a
you did
complication,
get the
right?
success. Yes, that is a complication. You find that you are able to read the AI's thoughts this time, much to your own surprise. And the complication is that it kind of triggers like a TV tropes effect. If you know what if you know what I mean by that, like.
No, what do you mean?
Oh, okay. So if you ever visit TV tropes, you a lot of folks will inevitably just like spend 6 hours going down a rabbit hole, or like
Yeah,
TV
it's
tropes or
cool.
Wikipedia. Same idea. So you start kind of getting lost in the complexity of this thing's mind, despite its relative youth. It's still very young, very naive, but its thought patterns are complex on a scale you've never encountered before. And what finally drags you out of it is another chime at the door. And you look as you look up you on the chronometer, you see that about 3 hours have passed.
Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like I kind of shake my head like I'm almost trying to like shake off what I was feeling, what I was getting from the AI. So I almost don't even recognize that my door chimed again.
And on the opposite side of the door, Jonas, you chimed once, but there didn't seem to be a response.
Tilting my head to the side. Computer, locate Ensign Naomi Kadir.
Ensign Naomi Kadir is in her quarters.
Is Ensign Kadir sleeping?
Ensign Kadir appears to be awake.
He'll ring the chime again.
I kind of again shake my head again just to kind of get back to almost the real world, and I say enter.
Jonas will walk into the room and then pause, seeing Ensign Kadir, and then a floating thing.
A floating box with some sensor equipment on the top of it, and some hover pads that looks like underneath. But you can't tell what mechanically is. Like mechanically, it looks like it's all one piece. There's no separate. There are no separate pieces for the sensor equipment or the hover pads, which shouldn't be possible.
Can I make a roll of that using engineering?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do reason engineering. Difficulty here is going to be 2, given your lack of familiarity with Iconian technology.
Totally fine. would I be able to use my flight controller talent here?
Actually, you're...
When
It is related
if
to
not, that's totally
propulsion.
fine.
Yeah, I'll say go ahead. We'll do reason con.
All right. Do I have any focuses that would apply here?
Ancient technology, I feel like would
Okay.
apply.
All right. And if everybody's okay, I'd like to grab a dice for cautious con.
Go for it.
Go for it.
All right. And roll. I'll re-roll one of those zeros.
Okay.
2 successes.
Okay. So, short of nanotechnology, there's no way that a construct like this should be possible. Which means, by process of elimination, that there's some fairly sophisticated nanotechnology that was in use to construct at least parts of this device.
Ensign Kadir, what exactly am I looking at?
So, this is, or was, the blue box that Koltesh and I installed the virus that attacked our ship into. And it's been developing into what appears to be an Iconian AI. And also it can move on its own now. So there's that.
Oh. Does your Iconian intelligence have a name or a designation that I should be using?
They've told us their name is Kalessa.
Kalessa. Okay, well, it's nice to meet you, Kalessa. You are a very beautifully sophisticated creation.
Oh, wait. Here. Let me take this data pad. It doesn't speak verbally, but if you type something out on this data pad and hold it up to the sensor, it will type out what it wants to say on top of the box.
Oh,
and Naomi,
okay.
As you're saying that, writing appears on the top of the box. Which... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm looking at the box. And I'm very surprised. What does it say? What am I reading from the box?
So it basically a response to what Jonas had said. Thank you. Hello, Jonas Cardin.
Very quick thing, because I honestly cannot remember as the player. Did I give my name, or did Ensign Kadir use my name when I entered?
I think no on both.
Yeah, I did not say your name.
Oh, you know my name. Can I read what's on the box beforehand?
It takes your translator a few seconds. It's because it's Iconian, but you can read it, yes.
Oh. You know me?
Facial features match file in Starfleet personnel database, or in Dauntless personnel database.
Ah, that's right. You would have had access to files on the computer when the Romulans were using you to attack us.
And after a few seconds, it just 2 words appear on the top of the box. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you don't. You don't have to apologize for that. There are points in every living sentient's life where they're used for something that they're not willing to be used for or have no control to be used for. But it seems you're coming along on your own by now. Which is why I came to see you, Ensign Kadir.
She kind of is a little bit distracted and is still kind of looking at the box. So it takes her a second. Sorry, what was that, Lieutenant?
Lieutenant Commander Ron and the, oh god, what is his rank?
Chief.
Master Chief Petty Officer, you're talking to me.
And the Master Chief Petty Officer are in engineering, and we're wondering if you wouldn't mind coming down and aiding them in helping. Basically, we're trying to help Dauntless get her nanoprobes back.
Sorry, her nanoprobes back?
Where did they go?
There was an altercation with the ambassador who was on our ship, and the ambassador removed them through touch somehow. And if she doesn't get nanoprobes back in her system within the next 72 hours, she will cease to function.
That is a very odd thing to have happened, and also a very bad one.
What makes it even odder is that it was my fiance who did it.
That does make it odder.
Only on Dauntless.
I'm beginning to get the sense that a lot of very strange things happen on this ship.
When we get a chance, let me tell you about my first month I served on Dauntless.
I'm sure now, with me having been on the ship for a little bit, I would probably believe it all. Well, this sounds like a time-sensitive matter with the doctor, so I guess lead the way. I turn to Kalesa.
Kalesa is more than welcome to join us.
And it's probably a good idea that I do keep an eye on her, since she, or they, is now mobile. So I turn to Kalesa. Kalesa, how about you follow us to engineering? Does that sound okay with you?
Affirmative. Canine voice. Affirmative, Master.
I'm so glad I was not the only one who thought that.
Was it actually written or that was like spoken?
No, it was just written. But
okay.
I have played with the idea of using Canine's voice when and if Kalesa does get vocalized.
Yeah. I like the idea of that. All right.
So
then,
I'm going to spend 2 threat here because I want to introduce, like, not necessarily a complication, but maybe a complication. Vroldaith, you've gotten a report of a science project wandering through the ship and have followed it to Ensign Kadir's quarters.
So there is another charm on the door.
Enter.
You're a popular one today.
I guess so.
Ensign, and he sort of stops as he sort of looks at Kalesa.
Baz, you're kind of quiet.
Hang on, I've moved my microphone up a bit. Is that better?
No, but I can turn your volume up. Stand by. Okay, try again.
Testing. How's that?
That'll work.
Yep. Okay. So he starts enters Ensign Kiriwi sorts of trails off as he eyes that Khaleesi had a report that one of your science experiments had been wandering around, and apparently here they are. Sorts of gets a confused look on his face as he sort of looks between the ensign and the blue box.
Yes. So the virus that we planted into the blue box that's been turning into an AI has become mobile. And as soon as they figured out how to move, they came straight to my quarters. So I think that was the wandering that was going on. But it has been here for a couple of hours now, but hasn't gotten into any trouble. They told me they came straight here from Astrometrics.
The most concerning is how. How is it even up and around? What else can it do besides what the blue box originally was?
That is a good question, and one that Koltesh and I have not been able to figure out quite yet. It seems to be developing a very complex neural network that's somehow transforming this blue box. Again, not entirely sure how that has been happening. But I do have an eye on it right now, and it is self-contained within the blue box.
But how long has it been developing this? And do you know how? Can he do a engineering check just to try and work out?
Yeah, let's do reason engineering for you as well.
Yeah, because I was
think of momentum.
Could I possibly help out with this? Because I was also going to say,
Yeah.
can I?
You can, you can assist with
better
reason
explain
science.
this. Yeah, to better explain this to Pellis and maybe for my own edification.
Mm-hmm.
Janice will just be quiet.
So,
sun silence.
Let's see. I'm going to spend a threat to raise your complication range to 2. Pellis.
Yeah, I just need to find my character sheet again.
It's under guest characters. And the complication the increased complication range basically comes from kind of a historical Romulan distrust of AI.
So, complication range of 2, 3 dice, no focus.
Yep.
Reason engineering.
Yep.
And then I would just roll 1.
1 for your reason science. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so 2 successes. You're a little cautious about this, all things considered, but Pellis, one thing that you have been trained on is how to recognize AI threats. This device doesn't seem to represent a threat, at least not in its current state. Like the things that has developed are mobility, which appears to be nano-engineered, uh, and sensory devices, and a method of communication. It has no offensive or even defensive capability. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that is plenty. So, just looking at it, seems communication and sensory input are some of the only other primary developments that it's made. The fact that it's nano developed is rather interesting, considering broader context of that we are. Do we know where the nanoprobes came from? The nanites came from?
They appear to have been engineered within the device.
Well, they don't.
What was the guy's name who gave me the blue box? I'm blanking. Yolan. So the previous science officer of this vessel, Yolan, he delivered the blue box at some time ago with the intent of us putting this virus/AI into it. So it's quite possible that the nanotech was present in the blue box that he gave to us.
Oh, that seems to be the case. It would be interesting to double check, considering Dali is currently missing probes, nanoprobes, just to double check that they didn't come from there. But seems that everything seems to be in order, even though how long actually has this development been taking place? When was the first sensor or communication method?
Oh, what would you say that the time
It's been
was, Dawn?
a day, maybe two.
No more than 2 days since we've seen these developments in the AI.
Well, I would have definitely preferred to have known earlier about this, Ensign. The captain probably has to be informed. Does seem that we have a new life form on board.
I did originally get permission from the captain and the Admiralty Board, but she is probably overdue for an update on the developments, especially now that the AI in the blue box has physically changed through the nanotech on board to the point where it is now mobile.
Yes, well, I did receive that notification that there was approved experiments in that regard. It was just the unexpected nature of the alterations to the blocks that have occurred since. But so what is everyone else doing here?
I came here to request Ensign Kadir's help in the engineering bay in order to get Dauntless back her nanoprobes.
And if there is any concern about the nanotech aboard the blue box and the doctor's missing nanoprobes, we were just going to head down to see Lieutenant Commander Ron. It's quite possible she could help in scanning, making sure everything aboard the blue box and the AI is secure and doesn't have anything to do with what's happened to the doctor.
which, if I may, I find highly doubtful that there's any connection, given that it was Viri who removed the nanotechnology from Dakhli. She would have. Viri herself hates anything Borg related, so she would have destroyed the nanoprobes instead of transmitting them somewhere else.
That being said, Jonas, give me an insight engineering roll. I'm going to set the difficulty here at 2.
Insight, engineering. Okay. Do any of my focuses apply?
Let me look at your focuses.
I should just put a slash through attunement for now.
Oh. No.
Okay.
Love doesn't count as a focus.
But if you
Alright,
wanted to
so
create a value, this might be an opportune moment
to create a value.
to replace I am the calm in the storm.
Oh, wow. Mm.
If
I do need
if
to
not, no worries. But
Yeah, I have nothing to replace it with at the
okay,
moment.
then we'll just keep on moving.
But I can do I still can do the check if you. Insight,
The check.
engineering.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Okay.
But given that it's difficulty 2, yeah, okay.
I mean, I have a 16 as my threshold, so maybe.
We'll see.
Complication.
Rip.
I'm gonna bank the threat.
I spoke too soon. Oh, and a nat 22. Ew.
Well, yeah, because you had a normal complication range. You have you have just a moment where there's a fleeting thought, Jonas, about nanoprobes, nanotechnology, and then you get caught back up in the conversation and the thought's gone.
Helpful.
Nanotechnology, sorry, what were you saying?
Is that in character? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it's in character.
Okay, yeah.
He was mumbling to himself, nanotech, nanoprobes, nanotechnology, and then he seemed to phase back into reality.
Well, for now, doesn't seem to be any harm with continued observation. Go and help the doctor. I will fill in the captain.
All right then. Well, with that, Lieutenant, should we go see Lieutenant Commander Ron?
Yes. And Callista, you're more than welcome to join us.
And I kind of turn back and say, "Coming with us, Calissa?"
Affirmative. And starts hovering in your direction.
All right then. Well, let's go.
Can I also do an insight command check on the thing, see if it's forms some kind of bond, or if it's what's the relationship with
Yeah, let's do an insight command. And I'm down for that. And let me check. Let's set the difficulty here at 2, I think.
I don't think I've got any kind of value or focus that I could apply here. But
I mean, a
would
value
say-
there. You do. I think you do have a value that would apply if you decided you wanted to spend a determination. But as
Yeah,
far as
I
focus
don't.
is no.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna keep the determination for now. But I will take momentum.
Okay. And I'm going to spend another threat to increase your complication range to 2.
Okay.
Okay, 2 successes. Nicely done. Given the fact that it has... Given the fact that it came directly to Ensign Kadir's quarters, like, it does seem to have a bond of some sort. You're not sure exactly what form that bond is going to manifest as. Like, it could be like a pet or like a very young child, but it does seem to have imprinted on Naomi.
Aw.
All right. So as long as so I believe that there will be Naomi has some level of control over it.
Okay, so um,
Yeah, that's the end of my scene. I'll head off to go see the captain to inform her of
okay,
what I
and
just found out.
all right, and let's actually go to the captain's ready room because we haven't had a whole lot of Bianca in this episode, which after last
That's fine.
episode might be kind of a relief, but
Are we in my ready room yet? I don't know.
yes.
Okay. She's just sitting there, reading through things, waiting for something to happen.
You have received a report from Admiral Tashake, Bianca. Uh, she has asked for Viridia's resignation.
Bianca just kind of raises her eyebrows and, like, nice.
And yeah, that's about when you get a chime at your door. It's Centurion Tapellus.
Come in.
Yeah, he'll walk in, Captain.
Ah,
How's things going
sit
here?
down.
He'll take a seat.
What can I do for you?
Well, I've just had a rather interesting interaction at Ensign Kadir's quarters. Seems that the blue box experiment that she and Cortez have been running have sprouted legs, so to speak.
Oh?
Yeah, nanites have generated input and output information sensory data. Apparently can hear us and has hovering ability.
I see.
Apparently, it's been slowly developing over these extra senses over the past.
Yeah,
Day and
I've
a
been
half.
getting reports on it over the past couple days. I figured once we gave it room to grow, it would grow.
I didn't expect it to grow like this.
I mean, it is basically a life form. It's going to be kind of like a child. It's going to learn to roll over, and then it's going to learn to crawl, and then it's going to learn to walk, and then it's going to learn to talk.
Well, it does seem to be attached to the ensign. I don't know if it's attached to Cortez at all, but they are.
Mm,
It did go and find her.
It did. It might have imprinted on her.
There's definitely some kind of one there. I will. There isn't any immediate threat. Um, it's still developing, and if there is one, it doesn't seem to have any defensive or offensive capabilities at this time.
Yeah, just definitely make sure that the computer is locked out, and we'll just keep an eye on it. I'm a little more concerned about how someone from the mirror universe is able to infiltrate the ship without setting off the alarms.
Or your resident Elorian.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, do I know about Jonas's?
Medical reports are confidential.
Yeah,
And
I
he
didn't.
hasn't
I
said
don't know about
anything.
that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm more meant along the lines, wouldn't the captain know about my ability to sense things that are out of alignment?
Oh, that she knows about. I think you've talked to her about that, and shown symptoms of it, like when you all were in the mirror universe.
So, just a point of making.
Well,
hey, Joni
she doesn't. Yeah, because of Viri, she kind of just is like.
Yeah. No one
She's
noticed
like-
because of Viri.
That is a statement.
Yes, Winters is a.
But someone with.
Winters
but
is
someone
opportunistic, like fuck.
Someone with a different quantum signature should have tripped the alarms, but she didn't.
And here, Pellis, I'm going to say that you've had time to look into this, because it's been 12 hours and you were there when she was beamed out. Yolan's software, a good chunk of Yolan's software is no longer in the Dauntless's computer banks. And it looks like it was damaged during the Romulan attack on the Dauntless. Like, it looks like that's about the time that information got wiped out of the ship's computers.
And I'll pass that on.
Well, we'll definitely want those protocols back in place. Making exception for our guests in the brig, obviously.
We will now start organizing that. Sort of fry size a bit as well.
All right.
Did...
I also, since you're my first officer, I should let you know that I saw Q earlier.
This is a being, Pellis, you have heard of.
Yes.
Like, not only through official reports, but also through family.
First, yeah. I've heard of a number of encounters with you, both personal and official.
You've met Q?
Not directly, but I know people who have. Particularly my time aboard the Valkyrie when I was young.
Valkyrie's actually in this sector.
Yes, I know.
But no, I would just take it under advisement. It's not like we can prevent him from going anywhere or anything. Just be aware.
Do we know what his interest was?
I don't know. He really wanted to see an Elorian get taken down a peg. And that I didn't blame him for. But between you, me, and the wall, Admiral Tashake has called for Ambassador Sedona's resignation.
And
Interesting.
in the chair next to you, Pellis, a human who matches all the descriptions you've read of Q appears, wearing an Alliance uniform with Admiral's pips.
Speak of the devil.
And you see his horns. Wonderful to see. Well, you. You I don't know. You seem familiar somehow, though. But
You
doesn't
have
that news
met
just
my
brighten your
uncle.
day?
Indeed. Seems a little convenient, though.
Well, hopefully he has access to more information than we have.
Well, Helorians are a sneaky little bunch. They are not quite omnipotent, but they know how to read things.
Less I'm aware of.
But don't look a gift Q in the mouth, Captain. I had very little to do with that. Your Admiral has interesting powers of deductive reasoning, from what I understand. And I understand
she is Vulcan.
everything.
She is Vulcan, and she did mind meld with my former chief of security.
Oh, yes, she had a charming person. Where is she?
Confined to quarters for the rest of the week.
I have to say, I'm starting to miss her. Maybe I'll
I'm
go
sure
pay her
she
a
doesn't
visit.
miss you. Oh, I'm sure she would enjoy that very much.
I'll take your word on it. Ta-ta!
Are you sure she deserves that?
I was being sarcastic. He was gonna do it anyway.
The Q, weird.
You can say that again.
There is a story that my uncle told about turning the entire crew of the Valkyrie as if they were on a television show.
Oh, I forgot about
Weird.
that.
I
wait.
unfortunately wasn't there, so I have no idea. But that was. I. Well,
Okay
Well-
then, that's very strange. But you know, it is Q.
well, at least he's. I was gonna say friendly, but I don't think that's quite the right adjective.
At least he's not fucking things up at the moment.
Don't
There you go.
don't say that.
Q, meanwhile, fucking things up.
Well, is there? Well, it's good news about the call for the resignation, but it hasn't resulted.
It hasn't
in
happened yet. No.
I'd still like to try and continue finding as much as I can to assist the Admiral in that.
Good. Definitely keep an eye on the AI, but that'll be your top priority.
Alright, very good. I will. What's the phrase? Nose back to the grindstone.
That's exactly the phrase.
Been around a lot of species. Anyway,
I practically grew up human, so I get what you're saying.
I will file my reports when I have things to report.
Fair enough. And she picks up a pad and she goes, I have to get back to it as well.
I take that as dismissed.
Yeah, dismissed.
And he leaves with a smile and nod.
And Bianca just kind of just like rubs her temple and goes back to reading.
All right. Regan, you feeling okay?
Ish. I've got caramelized cacao nibs that I'm trying to eat, but we shall see.
Okay. Well, I want to try and get this next scene with Jezza if you're up for it. So, and then afterward, if you want, you could bow out.
I probably should bow out after anyway, because I have to wake up probably around like 5 tomorrow morning, because I'm going up to one of our Plan B areas to scout.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's do that then. So we will. Where do y'all want to set up this medical/engineering procedure?
I would say sick bay. They have the MRI if we're going with the plan.
I don't think that's a bad idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Just go ahead and centralize in sick bay.
Unless it's statistically shooting us in the foot, and it doesn't sound like it's going to, so, you know.
Okay. So we cut away to sickbay, and we'll do a scene change where, yeah, there's some medical equipment set up, like one of the bio beds. Jezza is down here working on things. Naomi's working here, or down here working on things. Dauntless, there's this little there's this little box that you can see kind of hovering around sickbay out of the corner of your eye. You're like fastened to this bio bed, so you can't get a really good view of it. But
Yeah.
and then there's Jonas kind of sitting next to Dauntless, like hand on hand. I'm imagining.
He's distracted because he's trying to chase that thought he had earlier and lost.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Give me an insight engineering. We'll make the difficulty 3, but there's still a chance you could catch it.
Okay. Insight engineering. No focus, correct?
Correct.
If that's the case, can I use not everything can be learned in a school
Mm-hmm.
as my daily?
You can.
Alright, so that's 2 successes.
Yep.
Take
Mike.
a moment.
Ooh, 4 successes.
All right. So
Damn.
you gain a momentum, and the thoughts come together in your mind as this as Kalessa is kind of wandering around. You realize that those engineering these modifications that it made to its casing were done by nanoprobes, but I mean not Borg nanoprobes, but still nanotechnology. And it's possible the same nanotechnology could be used to save Dauntless' life.
Oh, and like he shoots up, and like for the first time in a couple of days, there's a huge look of clarity on his face as he points at Kalessa.
You're going to make yourself dizzy.
Dizzy later. Kalessa. Ensign Kadir.
Yes?
Lieutenant Commander Ron.
Yes.
Kalessa uses nanoprobe technology to alter their blue box. Is it possible to asking permission before anything else to use those same kind of nanoprobes to help Doc Lee?
I don't see why not, but they are going to be different nanoprobes. They're not going to be the same ones that she's used to.
Isn't that just a matter of programming, or?
Yeah.
So Master Chief, who has his hands deep, elbow deep in whatever machine is necessary to actually do this. Maybe we're looking at it from a different perspective. Maybe we need to look at it from the medical perspective. Anti-rejection medication might be able to help it be a little different, yet still get the job done.
My body would simply adapt.
Would it accept the? I suppose the question I'm trying to put together is not so much that your body will adapt, but if we use some of those nanoprobes, would they? Is the right word? Would they be assimilated to? Is that?
I suppose, in a sense, they would have to be, in a sense, grafted with some Borg encoding, but it could be done. They could act, in a sense, like a stem cell.
What if we obviously ask permission of the little metal
Kalesa,
right? Perhaps, assuming we ask permission and Kalesa gives it, is it possible then that instead of fiddling with this MRI machine and isolating things and this and that, we could just put the nanoprobes in and then have you go through one of your cycles?
Your culture and your biological and technological distinctiveness would be added to her own. It's almost like she's built to do it. We'll probably want to use at least the scans we have to give to Kalesa, as it were, so that we make the transfusion a little easier.
Well, we can use a little bit of what we have, and a little bit of what Kalesa has, and then if we put you in out of character, I've forgotten the word. It's not pod. It's
the alcove.
The alcove, yeah.
Thank you. God damn it. And perhaps if we combine the two and then put you in your alcove for a bit, that might just kickstart it.
Doc Lee.
Yes.
Kalesa is made up of Iconian technology. Would that have any interference with your alcove?
That gets like the biggest eyebrow raise.
I could fiddle with it if I needed to.
No. It would be interesting.
If I'm remembering this correctly, the Borg never assimilated the Iconians.
We were never able to get close to them.
You would technically be the first ever.
You just see like the other eyebrows start lifting.
Don, is there a way to like run a simulation of this?
Honestly,
to see if it's even viable?
Honestly, not in the time you have left.
Okay.
It is a theoretical possibility. With the remaining nanoprobes in my alcove, they could bind to the new rather blank slate.
Shit, the doctor's right. We could do that, take our data, run it through a transfer, plug it into our alcove. The alcove was already probably adapted to, he kind of does this like vague gesture, her, with our transporter data and using the Iconian technology, which is quite sophisticated. Hell, we might be able to wrangle up a solution out of the three of them.
I'll
I'm
say.
gonna-
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just gonna directly look at the little hovering box. With your permission, of course.
It seems to have been following along in the conversation. And for the first time vocalizes something. Hello, Dathli. The accent is odd. The voice vaguely feminine.
Does it sound similar to the Iconians I heard when Q took me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, slightly resonant. Will this hurt?
Me or you?
Yes.
Potentially me. I don't think you.
Will it help you?
Immensely.
Then I consent. I want to help.
Ensign Kadir, I really like your floaty metal baby.
I do too. Klessa, as long as you're sure, then I think this is worth a try.
A receptacle appears on the manifests on the top of the device, and slowly fills with a bluish liquid. It looks luminescent.
Blue.
Shiny.
Hot damn.
You know, blue and green are your colors.
It sounds like we're doing this. Are we doing this?
I believe we are.
I think so.
I will need assistance in moving.
Absolutely.
I'm right here.
All right, Daphne. It's very important on this journey that you keep your hands and arms inside the alcove at all times in the case of an emergency. I have no idea where the exits are, but don't you worry, darling. There ain't going to be an emergency. You get us here to help you.
It is her alcove, Master Chief.
You just get like this kind of look that's like blank because like she gets the references but she has no like connection to them. So she just kind of stares and then just like gives you a nod.
And there are parts that just did not translate. Like
Yeah, exactly.
And if you go ahead and hold on to this, and we'll stick this here, and this here. And oh, don't want to forget this.
The rest of
There
us
we go.
have arms.
Say that again?
I said the rest of us have arms.
He's just like pulling cables out of nowhere, handing them off to people.
Now, Commander, I'm a Master Chief. I work for a living. You would not deprive me of actually doing most of the hands-on work myself, would you not? That being said,
and from the corner, the ensign is like, Master Chief, they got to handle this. They're the crew. We are here on TDY. And I'm imagining 400 years later they still use that term. Like, we're on a temporary assignment. We're here to observe.
And I can observe from right here. Ensign Peters, you should go inspect that console to the best of your ability. I expect a full report on it later. All right, so with that, though, I'm going to step out of the way after I'll hook it all up, because I literally do the hands-on stuff. I am not smart enough to handle the rest of this.
So all this
I know how to put cords, slot A into slot B, easy. Theoretical physics and applying it to engineering and biology.
We're just not doing phrasing anymore, huh?
Cybernetics and power systems and all those things that I have that you're just like, what is that? I know how, but I know how to insert things.
That is all I know how to do.
Max does. He just inserts things.
Apparently not. They're not just not doing that anymore. Dolly, was Dolly previously aware of Jezza's artificial leg?
Yes.
Okay.
She would have known, like,
yeah,
because
it would have been in her medical files.
Medical file. And
yeah, okay.
She, like, that's actually the reason she went to Jezza in the first place, is because she thought her arm was malfunctioning.
Makes sense. Okay. Carry on then.
So while Rex was setting up Dolly, I was securing the nanotech from Kalesa. So I have it in hand. And so where should I put this?
Well, I would imagine we need to get that into...
Hold on. And I'm gonna direct Naomi where, like, basically there's sort of like a extraction, like, tubule, basically, that would have probably at one point been connected to a larger hive.
Well,
and like,
yeah, like, the Borg tubules are interesting because they can work to assimilate. I kind of envision them as multi-purpose, though, and like putting a hypospray right up against one of those tubules and injecting into that would probably be the way to go, as from a medical or scientific standpoint.
So probably either that port or that port.
Dahli, you're going to have to, one of these days, teach me how this thing works, because I really need to know.
It would be much easier to just assimilate the knowledge into your brain, but I will try to explain.
I would prefer the latter, but I understand the ease of the former. But Jezza looks vaguely uncomfortable.
I will attempt to make diagrams for you.
I like diagrams. Diagrams are good. So, Ensign Kadir, if you want to take over getting that in there, and she's just like pointing at the things that Dolly had pointed at, like, I don't understand yet, but that's what she said, so that. I will handle the computer stuff.
So, Doctor, should I just open one of the tubes? Should I place this into a hypo and just inject it? What would be the best mode of...
I think injecting it via hypospray would be the most effective.
All right, I will get a hypo.
I will, like, point at a box of, like, medical supplies.
Jonas,
I was a nurse.
Thank you.
I know where all the boxes. I know where all the assistant stuff is. I'm already ready with the box. Like, oh, I knew where this was.
Jonas is standing on the platform with Dolly in the alcove.
Okay, so this is going to be kind of a chain of tasks. We're going to start with Naomi. And it's going to be difficulty 1, control medicine.
Okay.
And Dawn, just let me know if I don't have a check. I want to assist somebody.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'm
I'll factor you in
Cool.
as assists as we kind of go through this process.
cool. Just because I got all that stuff to help with that. So you let me know when I'm in there.
Yep.
Also, I will say, like, with Jonas kind of, like, helping, you know, like, just holding her in place and stuff, like, Dahli kind of, like, gives you this look. And, like, you know the look because you've seen it before. It's the, this is gonna suck look.
Yep.
Like, she knows this is probably gonna hurt a lot.
Hey, can I tell you something?
Mm.
I lied to you earlier. And I'm sorry.
You lied about how you were feeling?
Yeah. Think Very broke me.
What's the expression? Welcome to the park?
Welcome to the party.
That's it.
I can't hear anymore.
Pardon?
I can't hear the universe anymore.
You
I
did
think-
have some psychic scarring. Perhaps with time it will fade and your listening ability will return.
He just shrugs a little bit.
I'll let your neuroscience focus apply here. Yes.
I would also like to assist in any way I can with my nanotechnology focus.
I think you're gonna have your own task at some point.
Yeah,
in this.
that's totally fair.
So, all right, first roll.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, 2 successes on difficulty 1, so that gives you all 3 momentum. So there's this injection, and Dahli, there's, as with any assimilation, there's the pain and the cold, but it feels different this time. Like, you can't quite focus on how. Like, it's like Tiger Balm in a way.
Okay,
But
yeah, that
imagine
makes sense.
imagine putting Tiger Balm on a wound.
Oh,
Yeah.
and on your brain.
Well, your brain doesn't have pain receptors, fortunately,
Well, no,
but
but,
every
like-
other part of your body does.
But like that imaginary like feeling of
Mm-hmm. So next part of this process, I'm gonna have Jezza do a control engineering roll, basically to see if this apparatus is doing its assigned part of the job, basically, which is kind of it's kind of assisting Dahli's circulatory functions during this phase of the project.
Okay, for sure.
I'm going to say. So we'll do control engineering. Difficulty is 2, and Rex will definitely be assisting on this.
Do you think any
I'm
of my
assisting.
Yep.
What am I assisting with?
Control engineering task?
It's not too bad. It's literally the same as what I was already doing.
do you think
Team dynamics apply, I assume.
Yes. And Jezza, you would have a cybernetics focus here, big time.
okay, that's where I figured.
I would love to use one of my values.
Not
Teamwork
available
made
on
out
an
of
dream work.
assist.
What'd you say?
Not on an assist.
I can't? Okay, cool. That's fine.
But
I will
but
do-
I can, and I actually would like to use one of my values here.
Okay.
My crew is my family.
Definitely.
Aww.
So that's 2 plus
I got 1 success.
3.
Boom.
Five
Oh,
together.
Big money.
So y'all are maxed on momentum going into this, which is good. Because this is where things might start to get interesting.
Denied.
Is this the point where I share? Is this the point where I share all the ideas I had why it might be a bad idea to inject her with Iconian?
It's fine.
It's
Too
totally
late.
fine.
Fine.
This blue box is building itself like seamlessly, hover jets and things. Suddenly, Dali's gonna be able to like microshift her arm into a pulse cannon.
That's fucking dumb. What are you talking about?
Yes. Let's install this to her left arm right now. Come here, machine.
Let's see. Jonas, I'm going to have you making the next roll, and it is going to be. I'm going to make it control security. Actually, no, sorry. You know what? Let's do fitness command. It's an odd combo, but bear with me here.
Okay. Oh, my fitness sucks.
Rip.
I have one spotlight I can use in case. What's my number that I have to reach?
Difficulty is 3.
Oh.
Oh.
However,
Yes.
I'm going to let your first aid focus apply.
Oh. Okay, that's cool. Hey, Dolly, you taught me that.
Hey, I helped.
That is what a doctor is hopefully supposed to do. Yes.
And you do have a full bank of momentum.
I do. I would like to create a new value.
Okay, so we are replacing I am the calm in the storm. Potentially. What is your
Make
new
me cry,
value?
buddy. Make me cry.
Nice.
Love is the strongest chord in the universe.
I'm gonna go lie down now. I gotta leave.
It's okay. You're already in the alcove. You don't need to lay down. Just stop worrying about it.
I figured they were already lying down, but okay, yeah, let's do it.
I love it. I do.
So that gives you 2 successes going in.
Yep. Just replacing that in the box. I do have a focus. My complication range is the same, right?
Your complication range is 1.
All right. I'm going to use a momentum to get a third dice, just in case.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm reading something that might come in handy here.
Okay.
My star-crossed metal might come in handy here, just in case.
Okay.
Wants permission before attempting a task and applying a focus. The character may choose to double their focus range. For the task, the character will score 2 successes for any dice that rolls equal to or less than twice their discipline score.
Yep. Okay.
And the discipline is command, which is
So
6 and below.
6 and below. Yep.
All right. So 3 dice. That's going to cost 3 momentum to use it, so I'm using 4 dice altogether. Sorry, everyone. I just want to make this work.
That is
Don't
completely
apologize.
understandable.
Get it done. Get it done.
All right, and rolling.
So 2, 3, 4, 5 successes on difficulty
Double check
3.
because if you double, make sure you check the rolls.
Oh, good
'Cause
point.
You doubled the task range.
Missed it by
Oh,
1.
the other one is 7.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just missed it by 1.
But
That's
it
fine.
did-
I just
but-
remembered that
yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
But y'all do still have 4 momentum. Jonas, you're holding Dauntless's right hand. There's in her assimilation tubules cross that bridge from her wrist into yours, like reflexively,
Oh
and you feel this searing pain as these nanites work their way through your body. It's not as, I mean, comparatively, it's not as bad as what Dauntless is going through right now, but part of them decided that part of you needed to be a part of this in a very visceral way.
Does it bring to mind the simulation at all that we went through?
Yes and no. After a moment, the pain actually starts to fade. And Dahli, the same thing for you. Like as your assimilation tubules like break Jonas's skin,
It would be like the most panicked look.
it would, but immediately the pain of the assimilate of the procedure starts fading. And you can see that it's not hurting Jonas as much at this point either. Like it's just straight up tiger balm now. It's not tiger balm in an open wound anymore.
I will tap my comm badge and how do I say Centurion's last name?
Pellis.
Centurion Pellis, unit security team to sick bay immediately. Just because the guy's been hit with a
We're in the alcove.
tubule. I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. So guys
sorry,
with
it would
taser
be-
sounds good.
It would be
And-
cargo bay, not sick bay. But yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
wherever
Cargo
we
Bay
are.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Centurion unit security team to Cargo Bay 3 immediately. This is the Master Chief Petty Officer of the fleet. Please respond.
Throw my title
Wait.
around.
Thank you. He doesn't. I mean, I'm new to the ship, so.
And the luminescence of these nanites kind of shimmers a little bit underneath both of their skins as this process is ongoing.
Sorry, my nerves are like flying, and I'm kind of like, I need to calm down. Let me make myself laugh.
Right? Let make jokes, lighten the tension.
Is there any reaction to all this from Kalesa?
They
That's,
appear
like,
to be
noticeable?
observing.
Okay.
Like they're out of their bailiwick on this too, just like everybody else, pretty much. This brings us to Dahli.
Yeah, how am I doing? What's going on? What's happening? I feel horrible. I just assimilated my boyfriend.
What could
Oops.
go wrong?
Hey, it's not the first time.
Yeah.
Look,
Not-
the first time was simulation, and I had his consent.
For Dahli, let's do control command.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Can I am I propped up at how do you imagine? Am I propped against Jonas? Is he holding me from the side? How is this? Paint me an image.
Jonas?
Okay, so for her alcove to work, does she have to be fully leaning into the back of it?
What I'm imagining is that she's standing, but in addition to the alcove, there's this biobed infrastructure that's been hooked up to it. So she's standing up in this chamber, where she's kind of able to grab your hand or hold your hand with hers, but doesn't have a whole lot of freedom of movement. In fact, really none.
Okay, so if possible, Jonas would be kind of to the side behind her with her able to lean into the side of his chest.
Okay, yeah, that works. So she's just gonna kind of mumble out this almost drunk sounding apology. And then just kind of not really pass out, but she's definitely it a little bit incoherent. And you said control command.
Yes.
Do I have any focuses?
Neurology? Or nanotechnology, take your pick. Complication range of 1.
Oh, thank God.
Can I assist, or is this just a her thing?
Given the success of your roll, I am going to give her a success going in.
Now, would my cyberneticist focus or talent apply?
Yes. I'm gonna say yes, and this is not the normal scope of the cyberneticist talent, but definitely yes.
I'm installing it on myself. It's close now. 3 successes.
Okay, so
4 with the one from me.
4 with the one, which
Yeah,
was the difficulty that I had set.
Whew.
I should have asked before I rolled.
It all worked out. The pain has faded, Dudley, and it's replaced with a mild euphoria, which is part of probably where the drunken, like the slurred speech is coming from. Like, your body survived with Borg nanoprobes for decades, but this is Iconian technology. This is another level of
It's the good kush.
for lack of a better way of putting it, yeah. Like, and as it is going through, you realize that the Iconian technology is overriding the Borg technology that was in your system.
Do I feel panicked about it?
You tell me. I mean, on the one hand, it's something that you didn't know was going to happen.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you're feeling fully functional. In fact, possibly a little better than fully functional. You're not entirely sure. But you all also notice that the alcove, the lighting that is normally green, turns a very Iconian blue, matching what you matching the luminescence of the nanites that Kalessa provided. Hi, Riker. So in total, I guess probably not panicked. Like, maybe curious.
Kind of like, huh.
Your implants seem to be functioning again, so that's good.
Yeah, that's
And your
good sign.
vitals are back at normal levels.
I'm
Hey, I
not in
can-
cardiac arrest is always
Yeah,
a good
that's
place to be.
Yeah.
How long does it last?
Just a few minutes. You'd say probably within the five minutes, the entire process has completed. And a little shyly, you pull your assimilation tubules out of Jonas's arm.
Yeah, and I'm gonna like immediately like put both my hands on either one of his, like either side of his face, and like start like looking for the like telltale black veins and like start looking for the signs.
No signs that any nanoprobes were in his body at all. But Jonas,
When
you can hear again.
When the Centurion arrives with the security team, I task Ensign Peters to update him on everything that has happened. Just like, when they show up, they're like, yeah.
And they arrive just about as this whole thing is wrapping up, I'm going to say. But
I'll turn to Peters and Peters, tell us, brief the Centurion, just so he's, boom, walks in, knows what's going on.
So drawn when we come in, but they soon get put away once they realize that there is no immediate threat.
Yeah.
Jonas, can you hear me?
Did Journey's computer fuck out?
No, I was muted.
Oh, okay.
Oh no!
It takes Jonas just a moment, but he nods. I can hear you.
you can hear again.
Mm-hmm. I can hear you. And just because I want to, I would like to listen to Doc Lee.
Dolly, why don't I let you describe what he hears?
Oh, okay.
Unless you'd rather not. I mean, I can do it.
No,
but-
I just never thought of how to describe it. So, first of all, I'm assuming that I have the collective back in my brain.
Let's go
Or
with
no.
on that for right now.
Okay.
It's buffering. Please wait.
You just want to slam into me all at once, you know?
Fucking board real audio, I swear.
So, like, you're used to hearing sort of like this almost, like, weird cacophony of, like, noise, I guess,
Mm.
from her, and, like, that's still there, but it's kind of muted, and you hear this, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like this, like, inhuman singing.
Mm. Okay.
I will add, though, Dolly, you don't necessarily hear the Unimatrix, but you feel some sort of a connection with Kalessa.
Yeah, that would make sense.
How do I feel, by the way, after all the nano
How
probes?
does Jonas feel?
Good, actually. Like, you've just had 8 hours of sleep. Like, rejuvenated.
How are you feeling?
Strange.
Strange in a good way? Strange in a bad way?
I think good. Mostly curious. Are you alright?
I'm good. I feel like I've rested for a cycle.
You kind of, like, look at the other people in the room like, well,
Do you believe that you guys just saved the Dauntless medical officer?
Well, that's certainly good news.
Just another day in Starfleet.
thank you for your assistance.
I will leave this in the capable hands of the commander and the chief science officer, Ensign Peters. I think we start planning our actual inspection. If you'll excuse me.
Just pushing everyone out of the way.
And as Rex and the ensign leave, you all hear the ensign who's like, "You know my name's McGinnis, right, Chief?"
Of course it is, Peters. Of course it is. You know what? I think one day you'll go from being a young dumb officer to a young officer.
So, I want to wrap up, if y'all are okay with it, with a short scene with Mira, Bianca, and Loren.
Sure.
I am going to head off.
Yep. Thank you so much, Regan.
Absolutely. No, I'm sleepy. So, good luck, guys.
Thanks. Good night.
Night.
Good night.
I'm actually going to jump off here. The girlfriend's falling asleep with the
Okay.
3-foot lizard, so
Yep.
I'm going to go take a couple pictures. real
Go.
quick.
Yep. Go do the thing.
All right, guys. I'll see you whenever. Just post
Yep.
the event.
Got it.
Before we move on, can I just do a few things quickly?
Yeah, what'd you want to do? Oh, you wanted a
Um,
scene with Shiana?
Well, we had that earlier.
Okay.
I do want to, after, the phases are all put away, Rule Earth is basically just staring at the blue. He's seen a green before, but not blue.
Mm-hmm.
And he approaches Jonas and says, taps him on the shoulder, "We're still going to have to need a official chat when you're ready. Please come by my office." And
Of course.
and that's it.
Can we actually do the Mira Bianca scene later? I have to get to bed. I
yeah.
have an exam tomorrow, so.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It was kind of a contingency thing, but I am totally okay actually wrapping it up here for the evening.
Okay.
I'm not dead!
Yay!
Yay,
All right,
we
yeah, so
saved
that is.
Daphne.
We'll call it an episode here, y'all. Thank you very